now you have work on view in the Denver Art Museum.
Yes, which in true rapper fashion, I want to dedicate to all my hating ass art teachers from when I grew up. Okay, so Lauren Thompson at the Denver Art Museum, very cool person. She reached out to me when they were renovating their Martin building, and they wanted to do a Western section, and then they wanted to have another section that was specifically Black Western. And so her idea was like, it would be cool to have a comic that tells the story of Nat Love. And so she asked around, and some people at the museum. Here's another dance floor connection. A guy that I know from Motown, his wife works at the museum. And so she was like, Alan is the one.
Yeah.
And so that came from the dance floor.
Yeah.
So Lauren reached out to me. We talked about what we could do. And so I read Nat Love. So Nat Love's a cowboy from the 1800s. There was a fictionalized version of him in the Netflix movie, The Harder They Fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it was
I found that really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we didn't know about it, but the exhibit opened at the same time.
That the movie was releasing. Oh.
Yeah. Which was just a funny coincidence.
Yeah.
But so I read this dude's autobiography. It's a public domain now, so you could just download it. And it's really fascinating because it was during a period where cowboys were selling their stories. That's what the term tall tales comes from that.
Yeah.
So basically, cowboys were living their life. People in New York were telling the stories of cowboys. Then cowboys were like, they're making money off our stories. We need to start telling our own stories.
Yeah.
But they're known for exaggerating.
Right.
Because that's kind of like what they were doing. Like that's what they were supposed to do in a sense. They're trying to top each other.
Yeah.
So when you read Nat Love's autobiography, you don't know how historically accurate it is. And so at first I was getting caught up in that, but then I was like, this is the autobiography. A Denver Art Museum is not like a history museum. Like, I'm just gonna tell the story as he told it.
It's not Museum of Nature and Science.
Yeah, right. So then I was like, but they can only afford to pay me for maybe like 7 or 8 pages, because drawing a comics page takes like 12 to 20 hours, depending on what you're doing on each page. So I read his book and I had to distill it down to like 6 or 7 big moments.
Yeah.
And layout wise, I was looking at this Jim Steranko. He's a Marvel Comics artist from the 60s and 70s, really known for doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But he did this story called Outland, which was an adaptation of a Sean Connery movie, where it's it was landscape, portrait versus landscape.
Yeah.
So he drew it in landscape. So it looks epic, like a movie.
Everything is very cinematic.
Yes. And I took that for inspiration. I think his is way better than mine, just so you know. But he would do like one big image and then smaller inset panels to like give other details. And I thought that was a great way to tell Nat Love's story.
Yeah.
So I did that. Worked on it a few months. And so it's a permanent exhibit in the museum, basically until they change the building again. So it's on a touch screen there, and it was just beautiful.